In his first life, he was betrayed. Oh, betrayal again, my favorite word. By his closest friend Dorian Valen and his lover Lyra Valen. Together they drained him of everything and left him to die in the cave of the mighty luminous dragon. He wakes up, alive, in his old dorm room, 10 years earlier. The year 2040, just before the launch of Celestial Odyssey, the fully immersive VR game that would later merge with reality itself. At first, he's confused. Where's his cultivation? His treasures? His storage ring? Gone. All gone. And then he remembers. The jade pendant he seized before his death, an artifact whispered to control the laws of heaven. It must have sent him back. A second chance. In his first life, he was betrayed. Oh, betrayal again, my favorite word. By his closest friend Dorian Valen and his lover Lyra Valen. Together they drained him of everything and left him to die in the cave of the mighty luminous dragon. Tragic, yes, but also terribly predictable. Now, reborn with 10 years of knowledge about the game and its secrets, Kalen vows to rewrite his story. Hidden quests, divine treasures, legendary beasts. He knows them all. And this time, he'll use that knowledge to rise faster, higher, stronger than anyone else. As he stares into the mirror, 19 months more, his eyes burn with icy determination. He will have revenge. He will make up for the regrets of his past life, and he will not waste this chance. Just then, his phone rings. The caller ID? Miss Tempest, Serenya's old nickname. Kalen smiles softly, answering her call. For the first time in 10 years, he hears her voice. And in that moment, he whispers an apology she doesn't understand. But he does, because this life will be different. This time, he won't let her down. 10 years ago, the cruel irony of fate. Our reborn protagonist, Kalen Arden, remembers the phone call that shattered everything. On the line was his old friend, Serenya Vale, panicked, telling him she'd just seen his girlfriend, Lyra Valen, kissing another man and hopping into his car. A betrayal in broad daylight. But back then, Kalen didn't believe her. No. He even scolded Serenya, and their friendship was torn apart. Serenya, once so close to him, left the university and transferred elsewhere. And Kalen... well, he stayed with Lyra, blind and in love, for 10 years. Yes, 10 years of lies, until Lyra's mask fell, revealing she wasn't just unfaithful. She was an angel-faced viper. Worse still, she betrayed him with his so-called brother, Dorian Valen. Together, those snakes deceived him, drained his wealth, and pushed him to his death. But now reborn, Kalen answers Serenya's call with new clarity. She warns him again about Lyra, desperate for him to believe her this time. But instead of rage, Kalen chuckles. He tells her he doesn't care about Lyra anymore and invites Serenya out for dinner. Naturally, she's baffled. What? The man who worshipped Lyra like a goddess suddenly doesn't care? And so, Serenya rushes over, tall and striking, turning heads like a campus idol as she meets Kalen outside his dorm. She demands teppanyaki as a reward for her good deed, and off they go to the food street. Over sizzling dishes, Serenya insists on repeating the betrayal story, even admitting Lyra used to say goodnight to 7 or 8 different guys every night. 7 or 8. Oh, the audacity. Serenya warns him again and again, but Kalen only smiles, insisting he's already done with Lyra. What Serenya doesn't know is that her old friend is no longer the same naive boy. He has lived and died once already, and he won't waste time on heartbreak again. Then, here's the setup for destiny. Serenya asks if he's heard of the new VR game, Celestial Odyssey. Kalen answers calmly. Not only has he heard of it, but he's planning to go pro. Serenya nearly drops her chopsticks. Kalen, the campus gaming legend who once ranked top in every game but refused to go professional, suddenly wants to gamble his future on a brand new title? She can hardly believe it. But Kalen is firm. He tells her to forget the old games. They're a waste of time. This game, will change the world. Serenya, excited, begs him to carry her along, and Kalen agrees. He even reveals he'll soon drop out of school to fully devote himself to the game. Serenya is stunned. Degrees mean nothing to him now? Yet seeing the determination in his eyes, she can only raise her glass and toast him, calling him the most badass she's ever seen. And so, over a shared meal, Kaylin's second life truly begins. This time, no blind love, no wasted years. Only ambition, revenge, and the road to power through celestial odyssey. Dear viewers, let's talk about our unlucky genius, Arendor Vale. Once a mighty Enlightenment realm cultivator, now reborn into the body of his younger self. Broke, hungry, and very, very awkward. After reuniting with his old friend, Selena Rowan. Yes, the tall, fiery goddess who can make grown men freeze with a single glare. Arendor proudly declared he'd treat her to a meal. Bold words, until the bill arrived. Alas, our great cultivator discovered his WeChat, Alipay, and even his credit cards were emptier than his storage ring. He wanted to vanish on the spot, but poor Selena had to foot the bill. Imagine, an Enlightenment powerhouse reduced to freeloader status. Oh ho ho, how the— Selena scolded him mercilessly, waving her fists like she'd happily use him as her personal punching bag. And what did Arendor do? He laughed it off, made some cheeky comment about being her balloon to pump, and promptly got his ear twisted. Romance? Maybe. Comedy? Absolutely. But embarrassment aside, Arendor had no time to waste. He ditched his dorm, moved into a neat little apartment, and finally bought the thing that mattered most. A game ring for the legendary new VR title, Chronicles of Immortality. And then, the fateful night came. Midnight, August 8th, 2040. The servers went live, and players around the globe rushed in. With a single flash, Arendor was transported back to that starry void, standing in a grand palace. 10 years later, he was finally back where it all began, and this time, he won't let fate toy with him again. Ah, behold, floating before the players was a celestial beauty, Seraphina Noctis, skin like polished jade, robes shimmering like glass, and an aura so divine that mortals dared not breathe too loudly in her presence. She wasn't just any NPC. Oh no, she was the architect of the immortal path, the goddess-created chronicles of eternity. But mortals, being mortals, always make fools of themselves. Many tried flirting, begging for hidden quests, or even touching. And what became of them? A one-way ticket to the in-game jail. Some lost all their charm permanently, doomed to wander as hideous rejects of society. A few poor souls were so cursed that no NPC would even give them the time of day. Truly, divine punishment has never been so humiliating. Our reborn protagonist, Kaylin Draven, knew this all too well, because in his first life, he was one of those idiots. But this time, wiser and calmer, he simply bowed and waited. And Seraphina finally spoke, her voice like celestial music. "Mortal, do you truly wish to walk the path of immortality?" "Yes," Kaylin replied firmly. She smiled faintly, scanning his soul with radiant light. Normally, this process took seconds, but for Kaylin, it dragged on. And then, oh, plot twist. Instead of the boring old merchant's discount trait he once had, he was granted a brand new talent. Defying fate. Its description? Chilling and exhilarating. All attributes maxed from the start. But each death carves away 10%. Breakthroughs yield double power. But every single one summons heavenly tribulation, fail, and your soul scatters. And with each great step forward, Kaylin would be forced to complete world-shaking trials, rewards beyond imagination, but risks beyond measure. Most players would cry in despair. Kaylin? He grinned like a madman. After all, what's the point of being reborn if you're not going to gamble with destiny itself? And so, after customizing his new look, goodbye ugly hair, hello elegant crown-style locks, Kaylin faced his next choice, his starting land. 4 provinces stretched before him, each tied to a path of cultivation. Magic, medicine, artifacts, or body refinement. This time, with 10 years of future knowledge swirling in his mind, Kaylin wouldn't choose blindly. No, he would claim the opportunities hidden within the land of his destiny. His second life as a cultivator had truly begun. Instead of charging ahead like an impatient rookie, Kaylin Draven took a step back. Why rush to choose a path when the secrets of his very being were waiting to be revealed? With a flick of thought, his attribute panel shimmered into existence. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Is this man a protagonist or the child of destiny itself? Every single stat, maxed, every talent unmatched. Even his charm was so dazzling that if he walked into a tavern, half the NPCs would swoon, and the other half would start writing bad poetry about his jawline. But Kalen wasn't distracted. He studied carefully. Physique was the domain of body and chi warriors. Spirit belonged to spellcasters and healers. Comprehension unlocked hidden skills most players couldn't even pronounce. Charm and luck? Hey, in this world, those were sometimes stronger than a sword. And so, armed with perfection itself, Kalen asked the question, why settle for ordinary? In his past life, he had followed the path of a spellcaster. And sure, hurling forbidden spells into crowds had its dramatic flair. Boom, kaboom, everyone's hair on fire. But there were problems. Squishy defenses, slow training, and the worst part? One step too close, and suddenly your opponent was carving your ribs like festival meat. Besides, he never even liked spellcasting. He had only chosen it back then because a certain girl, yes, that story again, had said she thought spellcasters were cool. And what did he gain for it? A lifetime of regret. Itch. No. This time, reborn anew, Kalen would not play safe. He would chase the dream he had always desired, the freedom of the blade. Sword cultivators, knife wielders, spear masters, their paths were bloody, glorious, and far more dangerous. But danger, my dear audience, is where legends are born. And Kalen, he was here to be a legend. Without hesitation, he tapped the glowing map and selected the province of Dawnvale, a land famed for its sword arts. His body dissolved into radiant light, vanishing from the heavenly palace, and reappearing in a quiet, picturesque village. Linen clothes, bare hands, not even a stick to swing. Truly, the humbling welcome package of a newbie. Around him, chaos reigned. Bro, this game feels too real. Did we actually transmigrate? Look at that mountain, it's so majestic. Yeah, that's all I've got. Recruiting for guilds, girls get priority. The streets buzzed with new players like festival markets. At the entrance, a kindly old village chief was swarmed like a rare treasure chest, while inside, every poor villager NPC was being harassed for missions. And then Kalen walked in. The noise dulled, eyes widened, and in the next heartbeat, chaos exploded again. Handsome, over here, team with me. Hey bro, got a girlfriend? If not, I volunteer as tribute. I swear he looks more handsome than my favorite idol. The men, meanwhile, were ready to form a jealous brotherhood on the spot. No way. I'm the Peng Yu of this world. Step aside, it's my turn to object. But the real shock wasn't from players, it was the NPCs. The tailor shop's widowed beauty, Madame Solara, practically abandoned her queue of begging players. She sashayed right past them, hips swaying like a pendulum of doom, eyes locked on Kalen. Greetings, young hero, she purred, voice dripping with honey. I am Solara, the village tailor. Would you like a mission? If it's too difficult, don't worry. I'll help you myself, Tilda. My poor husband has been gone for years after all, and I do so enjoy strong company. The crowd? Absolutely stunned. While they were grinding their lungs out just to get scraps, this man had NPCs offering him missions and confessing their widowhood in the same breath. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it looks like to have maxed out charm. Mortals. They simply cannot handle inequality, can they? The moment Madame Solara, our scandalously charming tailor widow, offered Kalen Draven a quest, another male player jumped up, red-faced and sputtering. Unfair. Why does he get special treatment? We've been waiting forever, and you're just giving it to him? And how did Solara respond? Not with sympathy. Oh no. Her eyes narrowed with disdain, sharper than a tailor's needle. Before you start whining, look in a mirror. Can't a woman prefer handsome company? If you don't like it, leave. I didn't beg you to be here. Ouch. Publicly rejected. By an NPC. That's not just a wound to pride. That's social death speedrun edition. The poor fool stormed off cursing, while everyone else suddenly found the floor very interesting. Better to suffer quietly than be roasted alive by an AI widow. Solara turned back to Kaelin, all sweetness again. So, little brother, what do you say? Kaelin, ever the gentleman, or perhaps just playing hard to get, smiled politely. Next time. I've other matters now. Her shoulders sagged dramatically, as if she'd just been abandoned at the altar, and Kaelin slipped away, not eager to remain the center of a circus. Still, his transcendent charm was undeniable. NPCs smiled at him in passing, greeting him warmly. Honestly, if Kaelin wanted, he could skip the sword path entirely and just attach himself to a pretty cultivator's side. Gigolo speedrun, anyone? Not that he would, of course. Probably, maybe. He considered it for like half a second. At the end of the village, a forge rang with steady hammering. A broad-shouldered blacksmith, Borin Ironfist, worked alone, sweat dripping, muscles bulging. Players had already tried pestering him for quests, but he ignored them all. Frustrated, they left muttering, "Deaf old man, waste of time." Kaelin, however, didn't bother talking. Instead, he grabbed the bellows and pumped. The flames roared, the forge blazed, and Borin's eyes lit up. Yes, that's it. The fire was too weak. For 5 minutes, Kaelin worked in silence until the blacksmith finally laughed. At last, it's taking shape. Thank you, boy. My apprentice is gone today, so I had no one for the forge. Grateful, Borin gestured at the weapon rack. Choose one. I'll lend it to you for a day. A lesser player would rage. Lend? After all that work? But Kaelin only smiled. A sword will do. And thus he received his very first blade. Iron sword, common. Strength +3. Then Borin added, "Bring me 10 green-fang viper fangs in a day, and I'll give you an opportunity." Kaelin agreed without hesitation. At last, his path as a sword cultivator had begun. When he exited, other players gawked. Does he already have a sword? We're still throwing rocks at rabbits. But when they demanded his secret, Kaelin gave them a straight face and lied through his perfect teeth. Easy. Go inside, sing a sad breakup ballad, and touch his heart. And oh, how they believed him. A chorus of tone-deaf banshees stormed the shop, wailing breakup songs so horrendous even the forge fire tried to die. Borin Ironfist's face turned redder than his furnace. You out! One by one, the wannabe pop idols were kicked into the street. The onlookers nearly died laughing. As for Kaelin, at last, the bamboo forest appears serene, whispering in the wind, until you notice all those green serpents coiled around the branches, their little crimson eyes gleaming. Oh ho ho, delightful nightmare fuel. Kael checks his stats. Vitality 100, Mana 100, Realm Mortal, Strength, Defense, Speed, all sitting at a grand total of 1. Yes, truly inspiring numbers. Still, he's not here to sightsee. He spots a green bamboo snake, and the fight begins. One swing of his sword, slash, a blood-red -30 pops up. The snake screeches in fury and lunges with venom ready to ruin his day. But Kael sidesteps like a seasoned veteran, waiting for that split-second opening. Then stab, right at the 7-inch mark, the vital spot. A glorious critical hit. -60. The serpent writhes, barely clinging to life, but Kael finishes it off with one final thrust. Victory. A puff of blue light seeps into him. Cultivation +3. For comparison, most newbies are out there whacking boars for measly scraps of 1 or 2 points, yet Kael casually bags a snake and leaps ahead. And let's not forget, this isn't even his main class. Once a famed spellcaster, now swinging steel like he was born to it. Truly unfair, isn't it? His reward? A pair of venomous fangs and... Wait, what's this? A piece of white equipment drops. Oh ho ho, Lady Luck is already smitten with him. And thus, the snake forest has claimed its first victim. And gifted our Kael with his first treasure. Ah, what fortune, what magnificence. Our lucky hero, Kael Renford, just slays a simple snake. And what falls? Equipment. Actual equipment. The crowd gasps. For ordinary players, the drop rate is lower than the odds of finding a phoenix feather. Yet Kael? He gets a bow on his first try. How shamelessly dazzling. Of course, the secret is his innate title, the lucky one. Most folks get stuck with average fortune, a rare few with bad or good luck. But great luck? One in a million, and